to the Coxless 4 as well, just to follow the Brits and try to keep that winning streak up.
This, the lineup for the men's lightweight double sculls. Our next race on the menu. Over on the far side, in lane 1, Linus Lindslag and Lars Hartig. Canada, Doug Vandor and Morgan Jarvis, who've qualified into this final. And then France, Danny Dallaire and Jeremy Azou. The French have only qualified 5 boats for the Olympic Games, but actually they all look quality and they all look as if they might have a shout. They all look as if they're going in the right direction. Here in lane number 4, Storm Uru, sitting in the stroke seat, Peter Taylor representing New Zealand, the silver medalist from last year. And then next to them, little and large, Mad Rasmussen sitting in front of him, Rasmus Quist, former world champions, coming back to prepare for London 2012, 5th last year in the World Championships. They were 4th in Belgrade. And here, Great Britain, Zach Purchase and Mark Hunter, unexpectedly in an outside lane. I have to say their heats and their semi have not gone to plan. They talk about, well, every race we can try things out and see what happens and what doesn't, but they're not where we expected to see them. We expected to see them shoulder to shoulder with the New Zealanders, their arch rivals.
In one of the center lanes. I was actually riding the bus with these guys this morning. They looked cool, calm, and collected, but at the same a little bit worried.
New Zealand. Denmark.
Zach Purchase and Mark Hunter, Olympic and world champions closest to you. 2 away, former world champions, Denmark. And then the New Zealanders, who were silver medalists in 2011, bronze medalists in 2010 on Carapiro, and a really good start by the French. French had a terrific start in lane number 3.
And if you wonder where the French were 3 weeks ago, they were racing the single scull, the lightweight single scull. Jeremy Azou, the strokeman of the French lightweight double, actually won a silver medal, if I'm not mistaken, or at least a medal in the lightweight single sculls. So they're doing really well, and I think they're a force to reckon with. We had New Zealand, we had Great Britain. Those were actually the 2 top crews, and right now France is really coming back in the mix.
Your memory is good. I mean, Jeremy Azou with Frederic Dufour in 2009 got a silver in the lightweight double scull. But this partnership, they've only really got together in the winter. I mean, it's been a relatively new partnership. They're young as well, 23, 24. So there's lots to look forward to with those guys.
Yeah, one of the interesting crews I'm actually surprised by is Canada. Canada used to race with Doug Vandor and Cameron Sylvester. They were always the duo for Canada. And over the course of the winter, there were 4 Canadians, Matt Jensen, Doug Vandor, Cameron Sylvester, and Morgan Jarvis racing together. And somehow Morgan Jarvis just beat everyone. He was so impressive in the winter season.
Through the first quarter, it's lane 2, Canada, who've got the advantage through the first quarter, then ahead of the French, who started well. Denmark, what a quality this is. And of course, remember, all these crews, confined to the same weight conditions. But just to tell you what the Canadians were saying yesterday, because they said, we're here as a first test to see how we compare. We were in a semi-final with some of the best boats, and we knew that we wanted to be competitive. This is Morgan Jarvis saying. So today we managed to do that. We worked together and really focused on our race, and it turned out to pretty well. So we felt that yesterday was a pretty positive step.
Yes, and right now they're doing very positive things as well. Yesterday they led from the start. For 1,500 meters they were in front, and then they were overtaken eventually, I think, by New Zealand. And right now they're leading as well, leading over France. And it's the Brits, again, not in good shape. I think the British camp will be a little bit worried with Zach Purchase and Mark Hunter. They're moving up. It's Denmark moving up alongside with New Zealand. On the far side of Germany as well, but Great Britain right now in 6th place. Here you can see Mats Rasmussen in the bow seat, and is a slightly smaller counterpart, Rasmus Quist, in the strokes.
Yeah, but it's effective. And remember, this is a long journey. They were, world champions in 2006 and 2007, but still at the half distance there, Canada with that edge over the French and the Danes. Then the two New Zealanders, Storm Uru. This is where I expect the New Zealanders now to really make their move. Storm Uru from Invercargill and Peter Taylor from Days Bays. These two men just past their mid-20s, but actually at the height of their powers.
Yeah, right now, this crew trailing the field, and they don't want to be there. They're a crew that loves to dominate, that loves to win. They're not a crew that likes to be easing or squeaking into a semi-final, squeaking into the final. They love to dominate. Right now, they're way off the pace. It's Canada in the black boat at the top of your screen in front, and then France, Denmark, and New Zealand.
And the other problem for the Brits, because it didn't go well for them in the semi-final, they find themselves in lane 6 and they're detached from the actual pace of the race. The race is actually going on the other side of the regatta course from them. And here are the two Canadians, Doug Vandor from, he's born in Montreal, Morgan Jervis in the stroke seat, who hails from Winnipeg. And as you say, this has really come together, because it was Doug Vandor and Cameron Sylvester who were the main pair for such a long time.
Yeah, Morgan Jarvis is the exception, or, well, the surprise, actually. He was so impressive in the winter season that he raced himself into that lightweight double. And I was talking to one of the coaches the other day, and they said, it's final. There's no way we're going to change this double. And I wouldn't change this double. They're doing really good.
Canada. First three quarters they have owned. Then France, then New Zealand, who moved up a place. They demoted Denmark down into fourth place. Then Germany, who are on an outside lane, and Britain as well. So this final 500, remember, all of these men, 72.5 kilos, their individual weight, that they must not be more than that, 70 kilos for the boat. So it's an absolute fair race in that regard. And you can see now what's happening over. French are coming back and they're getting on bow terms there with the Canadians. New Zealand, who are two from the bottom of your picture, and then Denmark closest to you, on the far side Germany, and the British are not at the races.
The British are not at the races, but this is exactly what happened yesterday in the semi-finals. It was Canada leading 1,500 meters, and then the other crews came storming past. And France is doing an exceptionally good job. You can see Jeremy Azou in the stroke rate, in the stroke position, raising the rate. Stanley Delaire copying in there. Really good rowing.
Yeah, the Kiwis were actually faster in the semis, but you can't read too much into those times now. But the French have got the bit between their teeth, and their actual placement, where they need to be on the course, has been spot on. And if they win this, then it'll be a deserved win here for the French.
Canada dying down, losing even to New Zealand right now. France with about a boat length in the lead, then New Zealand, and Canada might just miss out for a medal.
They might indeed. It is France, and then New Zealand, then Denmark, and over on the far side, Canada, and then furthest away, Germany. And, well, there'll be an inquest into this weekend for the British Olympic and World Champions.
They won't be happy with this. Contrary, the French, very happy.
I mean, that's a superb performance. And their timing, great start, immediately in a strong position, and controlled the race. Now,
this is not
the Oxford and Cambridge boat race by somebody trying to stop the race.
No, there's a swimming pool near the start area, and I think that this woman was just taking a swim. So don't be alarmed. That was not Morgan Jarvis. Morgan, what was his name again?
Oh, I can't remember his name. But there will be no restart to this race. It has been run, and it has been won by an impressive performance by the French. It's just where, Stanley Delaire, he was 5th in the lightweight single last year, and Jeremy Azou, he was winning an under-23 single sculls last year.
In a world best time.
Yeah, so that's pretty good.